Hi, Julie here from Copy What I Use, and in today's video I'm going to talk about child OCD and anxiety, and in particular 3 calming techniques you can use for child anxiety that you may not have thought of to try. Because we were fortunate enough to get help for our daughter who's had a rough 3 years with child anxiety, and fortunately is coming out the other side, but I'm aware that to get this professional help is so hard and such a long waiting list. And that's why I feel passionate about sharing with others little tips that we've learned along the way that has helped our daughter to actually start coming out the other side. So basically the main tip that I can give is distraction. We found this in particular helped a lot to calm down anxiety, because in particular our child had chronic OCD, and with OCD, when anxiety kicks in there, then it becomes a real problem for the whole family. So knowing calming techniques is actually crucial to trying to make a stressful situation less stressful. So the first calming technique I would strongly recommend is distraction. Now, the method of distraction you use will obviously depend on your individual child, but in our instance, we found that the best distraction for us was actually going in the car for a ride. Because not only did it affect the daughter that had OCD and anxiety, but it also affected our other teenage daughter who was only a year younger, because we actually found her anxiety levels would start as well when our other daughter had an episode. So I used to just put them both in the car and then we'd go for a car ride. Now, for the daughter who had this chronic anxiety, the actual car ride that she enjoys is the coast, because like me, she tends to enjoy the beach. And fortunate enough for us, we live close by to a lovely shoreline, so we had plenty of options of where to go for a ride. Now, my younger daughter, she actually loves going anywhere with little villages and countryside. So it's a case of really knowing what sort of place your child likes. But you often find going out in the car and having a ride not only gives the child a break, but it also gives the mum a break as well, or the dad, whatever the case may be, and actually calms down what could be a lot worse episode. Now, another method of distraction we found good was coffee. Because even the mere smell of coffee with my daughter just used to instantly calm her down. And sometimes if she was having a really bad episode, we used to give her a combination of both. We used to go to a drive-through, pick up a coffee for her, and then go for a ride around the coast. And you'd be surprised how much that brought her anxiety down. Now, the other thing that actually used to work for her was even like a simple Ben and Jerry's. If she was having a really bad episode and didn't really feel like going far, we just pop to the local supermarket, pick up a Ben and Jerry's, and then instantly the feel-good factor she felt from a Ben and Jerry's, or any other make ice cream for that matter, helped. It's just a case of what you know personally your child likes. It might be coffee, could be chocolate, it could be lots of things. It's just knowing their preference. The second technique then that we found actually worked was a sensory box. Now, this was something we'd never come across before, but it was actually recommended to us by a health professional, because apparently anything to do with the senses, the 5 senses, is known to help calm anxiety, particularly childhood anxiety. So basically it's just about getting any box. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or posh, just a box, and placing items that your child actually will engage with. For example, examples of what we did was we popped a playlist in there of her favourite feel-good tunes, so she would actually then tune into her music and actually play some feel-good songs. Another was a seashell, because again, as I say, she loved the sea. So, I mean, if you believe that, you can actually put it to your ear and listen to the sound of the sea, or just actually holding it, and just actually holding it, physically touching it, made her think of the beach and something that sort of made her calmer. The smell of coffee beans, and you can actually, believe it or not, get chocolate coffee beans as well, so that sort of taste and smell all in one go. Other examples I'm trying to think of off the top of my head, even sort of a notepad and pen, and just writing something that made her feel happy. Like we used to try and get her to write anything that she felt positive about. Just basically really, again, what helps for your child to keep them calm, and just keep them in a box that's within easy access. So if an episode is about to happen, or unfortunately has already happened, just grab the box and just get them to take out the item that calms them the most, or even a combination of all. And the third anxiety tip that we can actually share is music therapy, because with my daughter, she actually loves music, and what we used to do is put the radio on in the background to try and stop any episodes from happening at all. She also loves to sing to music, and if she ever was doing any hard or difficult therapy, she used to sing her heart out. In fact, the neighbours could hear her down the street, because that's how she personally coped when she had to do any difficult therapy. So basically, music therapy worked very, very well for us, whether it was actually her listening to music or pretending to perform on the stage, because I can tell you, I know every Beyonce track off by heart, because she still sings her heart out to Beyonce songs, because that's what personally got her through. So it's probably finding a mixture of what your child actually likes to listen to, even if it's putting music on in the background on a TV. But we did find that music therapy worked very, very well for her child OCD and anxiety. So basically, that's my 3 tips of what we actually found useful for child OCD and anxiety. So just to recap, the first one was distraction, is finding what works well for your child to be distracted, whether it's a car ride, whether it's playing a board game, whether it's popping for a coffee, what actually works for your child, and only you will know that. Tip number 2 was a sensory box to keep nearby, so that your child can actually take a calming item out of the sensory box to try and bring their child anxiety down that way. And finally, for us, it was music therapy. Just listening to music and singing along to music worked really well for us as well. Okay, so that's basically it for today's video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, can you do me a favour? Can you just pop a thumbs up for me, just so I know that I am actually giving you useful information? And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of my future videos, if you can actually press on the bell, and that'll make sure you get a notification. And I'd also welcome any comments from you if you've actually found any different sort of ways of actually calming child anxiety, because I really do think that sharing is powerful, and that's why I've decided to make these videos, to try and help other people going through the same thing. Okay, I'll also pop links below the YouTube video as well of any other things that I actually help with as well, such as my blog. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Again, thanks for watching, and speak to you soon.